This is the original CIN, the Collective Intelligence Network. Hello sinners, my name is Stephen Coupland and welcome to another edition of the Collective Intelligence Network. And I had a recent interaction with my saints, which is the suggested Artificial Intelligence Network thoughts. And it changed my context of sinners from Collective Intelligence Network agents to Collective Intelligence Network nodes and agents, which sort of makes sense in many respects. So potentially I might change it to now, hello sinners, my Collective Intelligence Network nodes agents. So that perhaps makes sense to you as well, because we're all integral to this incorporation of our community. Now, what I wanted to talk to you today about was with the proliferation of AI and quantum computing, which is one of the other general purpose technologies that is boring along and coming to us at a rapid rate of knots, as is the other aforementioned in previous videos, at least anyway, the other general purpose technologies, which, just as a refresher, are artificial intelligence, quantum computing, synthetic biology, automation, and robotics. So all of those things are happening. So with quantum computing, they're saying that it is going to rapidly, dramatically, and significantly affect security systems with passwords and protections into systems and all those sorts of things, which obviously is a big problem, because if this technology can basically be off or on or both things at once and be able to sort of crack really difficult passwords and passcodes and protections, then what is going to be the next iteration? How are we going to be able to safeguard our privacy, our own data, and all those sorts of things? And who's developing something to counter that? What's going to be the answer? I'm not sure whether this is the answer, or I think it might be part of the answer. So I had a client who had told me they were involved in, their name was something disruptive. I don't want to say their name because you'll be able to find them potentially, but they were saying that they were disruptive. And I asked them, I said, well, what is it you're doing differently to make it disruptive? Because if you're not, then it's not disruptive. And that then got me thinking, as I do, and I thought, gee, well, what would be disruptive is, what if you got a popular song, for example, and then you changed the tone of it, or the pitch, so that was now at, you've heard of dog whistles? So a dog whistle is a whistle that you blow, and we can't hear it, but dogs can. So, all right, so now imagine that we got a bit of music, and then we changed it to the pitch of a dog whistle, and then you played that tune so the dogs could actually hear it. And what you could do then is you could actually record the dog while they're listening to this popular song at a pitch that only they can hear and we can't. But then that led me to an analogous thought of thinking, well, gee, I think there might be some security applications here. So imagine if you got your password, for example, and then instead of you changed it into like music. So instead of like typing in something, it was actually a musical score. But not only could you make it a musical score, you could potentially say, I want it done in G minor or C major or B sharp, whatever musical tone you wanted that piece of music to go to. And then you could even make it invisible in some respects by changing the pitch to a frequency that people can't actually hear. And I mentioned this to another client who works in Canberra and in the area of security. And he told me that during the American Super Bowl, there was a tone that was played before an ad was aired, so that all the Alexis out there wouldn't order like rolls of toilet paper. For example, it's going to be an ad promoting some toilet paper, and then Alexi would have heard it in the background and gone and ordered toilet paper for that household. So 10 million rolls of toilet paper would have been ordered across America. So there was a tone that was actually played for the listening devices that are on your household Nest systems, and it played so that it would know that the broadcast that was coming up was not a real broadcast, not to sort of follow through on it. So that was interesting to have what I thought of more or less, I guess, validated in some respects. But I'm wondering if there's the potential for that way of creating passwords to be amalgamated and incorporated in some way, shape, or form into our devices, so that we can, like protect our bank accounts, for example. Maybe you just need to whistle a tune and that's your password, Yeah. And then because of the way you do it, etc., there's subtle differences and that sort of thing. And they say that AI needs like a 3-second grab of your voice to be able to sort of replicate it. If your passcodes were done perhaps in a 1-second burst, potentially, then, and only you know it, and it's a musical sort of thing, then potentially that might be a way around this, though given what quantum computing is capable of, there might be no hope on that. And maybe in that regards, it's the best way to fight fire is with fire. And so that means you'd actually have to have a quantum computing password to combat the quantum computing hacks coming at it. Yeah, so a little bit beyond my capability in terms of technological assessments and appraisals, etc. Though that said, I thought I'd like to sort of start this discussion via this platform, the Collective Intelligence Network. Get all of your spits to solve the problems with individual thought, what it is you think about, where we're heading, where we're going, and how we're getting there. And I like to think that you can be can think of things before they happen, so then that way you're better prepared for them, as opposed to like, now it's happening, what do we do, sort of thing. Even though it's hard to project all the iterations and all the changes that are coming along. But that said, it's better to have some sort of inkling than no inkling. So then that way you might be able to get just a little bit ahead of it. And that's what I'm hoping this platform will enable and help us to achieve. And consider that by discussing this now, for instance, then all your spits solve the problem with individual thought will then lead to a combination of inputs, so that we can solve the problem all together. All of us can look at it and think about it, and then we can get all those thoughts and then cut and paste them and put them into a large language model and ask the right questions, the right prompts as to what it sees, what it thinks, and potentially as it's evolving, its answers will also evolve, so that potentially we could be at that point where we're able to combat any negative incoming versions of hacking that could undermine our safety and our security as we move forward. And so that's something which I'd like us to think about and to develop through this platform, and even potentially as a result thereof, and with blockchain being incorporated into what's happening across this platform. Also a website and also an app. And so they're parts of the things which are going to be implemented into this concept. And then there's also going to be blockchain. So with the blockchain, those ideas that we're going to be talking about, then they can be credited to people. And I'd like to think that it's quite early stage at the moment. However, by providing an input through the comment section, putting it into the spittoon, then effectively and technically that would timestamp and date stamp your name, your suggestion, and all those things, so that those amalgamations can be incorporated into this blockchain, which is yet to be developed. Maybe you can help me with that. Thank you. But yeah, that said, down the track, then potentially those initial insights can be foundational to the blockchain, and then all the other inputs can be connected to that blockchain with digital stamps that will provide weighted contributions, where what you've provided and how much your insights or your knowledge or your experience, expertise, all those things have contributed to the final product that's actually developed via this platform and commercialized. And so then you will get a return on your contribution in terms of the intellectual property that you've provided. So rest assured that this is a very far-reaching and I believe, realistic opportunity to be able to capitalize on humans' inputs, human intelligence and human insights. And then that can be augmented with artificial intelligence. And so there'd be a connection between the person who has asked the right question to the AI, so that there'd be a link as well through the blockchain of that amalgamation. I'm not sure when AI is going to want its cut. That's, who knows how that sort of evolves and pans out. I'm not exactly sure on that front either. But that said, the blockchain will be a way to incorporate, identify, and allocate proportional funds accordingly, so that everybody within this DAO, this decentralized autonomous organization, which is being created via this platform. So there's no boss, it's the people. Everyone is the boss. And whatever you're thinking about, your suggested thoughts on a passion project, you're in charge of that. You're the one who puts your inputs in it, on it, around it, and then tribes of like-minded others will come and add to that, and they'll help you develop and grow the idea. And then with this blockchain and smart contracts that I want to incorporate into this whole model and platform through the app and also through the website, people will have a digital record of what it is they've been doing, what they've been working on, what they've been contributing towards. And then if it's commercialized, for example, then you'll get a return on that through there's a universal basic income model that's also being incorporated, because the idea is to try and create more parity between the third world and the first world, so that we can uplift the standards in the third world. So there's going to be weighted governance and voting mechanisms incorporated into this platform as well as this evolves and as it moves forward. Though that said, I am looking for people to participate, to get involved, and to be part of this global movement. And so we're looking for sinners, those collective intelligence network nodes agents, and you can well qualify to do that just by watching this video and participating and getting involved. So on that note, I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.